Chosen one, you didn't land here by chance. This moment was designed for you. You've been searching, praying, holding on with silent strength when no one was watching. And now, heaven is answering in a way your spirit already recognizes. You're not just listening to a message. You're stepping into alignment with something sacred, something life-altering. You've carried questions in your heart that words couldn't frame. You've wondered if what you feel deep within, the desire for something real, safe, holy, was too much to ask. Let me tell you now, it's not. You were made for this. You were chosen for it. This is your confirmation. This is your divine tap on the shoulder saying, get ready, because what's coming is not just love, it's destiny. It's the kind of connection that elevates you, unlocks parts of you, and walks with you in purpose, not away from it. And if you're feeling this right now, if something inside you is lighting up, don't scroll past. Stay, because this isn't just another video or post. This is an invitation into your next chapter, into wholeness, into clarity, into love that mirrors heaven. Let the world chase noise. You're here for something eternal. Type 55 in the comments if your spirit says yes. That's not just a number, it's your signal, your agreement with divine timing, and your sign that your heart is ready for what's been waiting for you. Looking for purpose and peace? Hit subscribe and start the journey. Some hearts are sculpted through the fire, not broken by it. You've walked through connections that looked promising but hollowed you out. You've poured from a full soul into people who didn't know how to hold anything sacred. You've shown loyalty in places built on convenience, not covenant. And even when the ground gave way beneath you, something in you kept reaching toward what was real. You've tasted what it's like to be met with indifference after showing up with intention. You've invested your light into people who only wanted to borrow it, not protect it. They weren't evil. They were unready, drawn to your warmth, but afraid of your depth. They didn't mishandle you because you lacked value. They mishandled you because they couldn't recognize it. Still, your belief in love never died. It simply got refined. You stopped searching for attachment and started craving alignment. You outgrew surface-level affection and began preparing for something with roots. The ache didn't mean abandonment. It meant awakening. The delay didn't mean denial. It meant refinement. Every detour taught you to distinguish connection from codependence, attraction from assignment. Make your impact eternal. Join now and be a light in someone's darkness. What you seek isn't a fantasy. It's a fulfillment, not based on fairy tales, but divine architecture. Something carved in silence, protected by unseen hands, and timed to meet you at your highest self. The love you were meant to receive was never given to the unprepared version of you. It's preserved for the one who knows how to stand whole before trying to hold another. Now, you are different, not desperate, but discerning, not rushing, but ready. You've stopped praying for someone to fix you and started walking as someone already complete. And in that wholeness, something opens. Not a door, but a release. What's meant for you begins to draw near, not with chaos, but clarity. What arrives next will not trigger your survival mode. It will not imitate what hurt you. It will carry peace without performance, consistency without convincing. And when it meets you, you'll know this is not a rescue. This is recognition. What you once cried for in confusion will come to you with confirmation. Not because you begged, but because you became. There's a reason you had to walk alone, through seasons others never noticed. Not because you are unworthy of love, but because what's meant for you requires preparation, not distraction. That space of silence wasn't abandonment. It was alignment. What felt like rejection was redirection towards something deeper, more rooted, more true. If your heart overflows with divine love, now is the moment to let it shine. Click the super thank you button on YouTube and give $50 or more to help carry God's light to others. Your gift will bless not only your life, but countless others. You are part of His sacred plan. Your kindness may be the answer to someone's prayer. Share your blessings and honor His kingdom. May His grace guide you always. You weren't kept from connection out of cruelty, but pulled aside so nothing counterfeit could cling to you and call itself real. If every hand you reached for had stayed, it would have blurred your vision and dimmed your voice. Not all that glitters is for keeping. Some shine just enough to distract you from what's divine. So heaven, in mercy, allowed partings you didn't ask for to protect a promise you couldn't yet hold. Those long nights, unanswered messages, and one-sided efforts weren't failure. They were training. You were never overlooked. You were being guarded. Where others chased companionship, you were being carved for covenant. What you thought was loneliness was sacred ground. That silence was not empty. It was fertile. Each unanswered call became space for clarity. Each moment of stillness, a reintroduction to yourself. The version of you who longed for someone to choose you has been replaced with someone who remembers. You were already chosen before any heartbreak touched your hands. And now, from that remembrance, you no longer reach out to be validated. You stand ready to be met, not filled. You don't confuse presence with peace or attention with alignment. You've learned how to sit with yourself without needing noise to numb the waiting. And because of that, you now know the sound of truth. So when something real approaches, it won't have to prove its place. It will match your growth. It won't pull you backward. It will walk beside you, unthreatened by your fire, drawn to your depth, and ready for the weight of your calling. This was never about being alone forever. It was about being whole enough not to settle. Now you're no longer hoping for love to save you. You're prepared to recognize what honors you. And when it arrives, you'll see it clearly, not because it's loud, but because it's aligned. Not because it fills a void, but because it fits a purpose. What's ahead doesn't resemble what's behind. And you'll never trade peace for presence again. You were set apart so you could return to yourself. And now that you have, what's truly yours can finally find you. Make your impact eternal. Join now and be a light in someone's darkness. Two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10. NIV. Imagine two candles, each burning steady on their own. But when brought together, their flames don't fight. They merge, becoming one stronger, brighter fire that lights more than either could alone. That's the kind of love heaven is preparing for you. It's not here to dim your flame or take center stage. It's here to burn with you, to multiply the light, the warmth, the purpose. What's on the horizon isn't temporary chemistry or surface-level thrill. It's not the kind of love that starts loud and fizzles quick. No, this is a holy connection, a covenant kind of love, crafted by divine hands for a divine assignment. It's not made for show, it's made for impact. Not built in the shallow, but rooted in the sacred. You didn't wait this long just for butterflies. You waited for alignment. And now, heaven says, it's coming. This love has backbone. It's been through the refining fires and didn't run. It's not impressed by surface or scared of storms. It doesn't praise the easy moments and disappear when things get real. It stands, it builds, it covers. It knows how to pray when you're too tired to speak. It sees the quiet battles, honors the unseen sacrifices, and still chooses you every single time. This kind of love doesn't distract you from your calling. It locks arms with it. It doesn't silence your voice. It amplifies the message God placed inside you. It doesn't get jealous of your anointing. It guards it. And when life gets heavy, this love isn't looking for the exit. It's looking for your hand. They're not intimidated by your growth. They're not confused by your fire. They were built for it. Just like you've been prepared for them. You've had the kind that pulled you off course, made you question your worth, blurred your vision. That season is over. What's coming will feel right because it is. It won't cause confusion. It will bring confirmation. You'll know it not by how fast your heart races, but by how settled your soul feels. So, prepare your spirit. Let go of old definitions. This isn't love like the world teaches. It's love like God ordains. It doesn't knock you off balance. It walks in rhythm with your purpose. It doesn't drain. It revives. And it's closer than you think. Get ready. The kind of love you thought only lived in prayers and late-night tears is stepping into your reality. And it's not coming to take, it's coming to build. Where past connections admired brightness but ignored shadows, this one embraces both. Not for rescue, but for real partnership. This is the kind of presence that activates calling, multiplies capacity, and gives breath to vision long dormant. It touches wounds prayers couldn't reach and speaks in a language only your spirit recognizes. If your heart overflows with divine love, now is the moment to let it shine. Click the super thank you button on YouTube and give $50 or more to help carry God's light to others. Your gift will bless not only your life, but countless others. You are part of His sacred plan. Your kindness may be the answer to someone's prayer. Share your blessings and honor His kingdom. May His grace guide you always. They won't be unsettled by your depth. They're calibrated to it. Their presence doesn't blur your identity, but brings it into sharper focus. You won't be left interpreting silence or guessing motives. Their consistency becomes clarity. You won't need to sell your worth. They move as though they already know it. And when this love arrives, it doesn't confuse or control. It anchors, not because it's easy, but because it's eternal in nature. It doesn't fracture under hardship or escape when imperfection surfaces. It holds because it was crafted to endure. This isn't love that derails purpose for fleeting validation. This is love that stands shoulder to shoulder in the work, in the waiting, and in the war. It doesn't just make the heart feel, it helps the soul function. It builds, blesses, balances, and boldly aligns. This isn't found through striving. It emerges in alignment. And when it does, the entire course of your journey shifts. Not because you're saved, but because you're seen and walked with. Not every wound leaves a mark that others can see. Some aches sit quietly in the background, not because they're forgotten, but because they've been silently endured for so long, they've learned to blend into daily rhythm. There has been growth, yes, strength that came from long nights no one applauded. Clarity formed from chaos. But even now, hidden corners of the soul still echo with what was once too painful to name. Healing hasn't been a single moment, but a path walked with trembling trust, one where joy was learned again, not stumbled into. There were moments forgiveness was given without apology, where faith pushed forward though emotions lagged behind. There has been wisdom carved out of sorrow. And yet some soft places still wait, not for closure, but for care. The kind of love arriving doesn't dissect you with analysis or try to rewrite your story. It steps gently into the unspoken spaces, not to repair as if you're broken, but to remind you you've never been beyond beauty. They do not flinch at what you've carried. They don't study you like a puzzle. They honor you like a presence. They come without terms, without roles to play or expectations to meet. Their presence doesn't press down, it lifts. Where others pointed out wounds as weaknesses, this love brings quiet reinforcement. It doesn't silence what hurts. It sits beside it without fear. It does not demand you pretend to be whole. It celebrates the wholeness already forming in you. There's no shrinking required, no hiding parts to earn space. You are not edited to fit comfort. They do not strip away layers, but shield them with reverence. Dreams that once felt too fragile to name now feel safe to say aloud. The burden to appear unshaken falls away. You are finally allowed to breathe deeply again. And in that breath, something holy stirs. Not because everything is perfect, but because someone finally sees without needing to fix. This love doesn't promise to erase the past. It declares you've never been less than enough because of it. It brings stillness to the places that once braced for harm. This isn't about being saved. It's about being known, held, and honored. It's about recognizing the sacred effort it took to rebuild from ruins. It brings calm, not through familiarity, but through trust. And yes, it may feel strange, not because it's wrong, but because it's real. And after surviving so long, safety always feels unfamiliar at first. There was a time when connection came at a cost, when affection tangled with confusion, and love made the path harder to walk. What felt warm slowly dulled your clarity, turning dreams into questions and direction into detours. You tried to hold purpose in one hand and partnership in the other, but the weight was never balanced. There were moments of trying to explain a vision not everyone was wired to grasp. You carried future mapping insight while being measured by present limitations. The more you pressed forward, the more love pulled sideways. But that chapter is closed. What now enters doesn't compete for space in your journey. It amplifies it. There is no resistance to your reason for being, no insecurity toward your strength. This connection is built not on convenience, but on compatibility of mission. They don't need to be convinced of your calling. They recognize it instinctively, and they move in sync with it. You no longer feel torn. The emotional energy once spent explaining, defending, or dimming now fuels progress. This love doesn't orbit ego. It expands purpose. There's no shadow of control, only mutual elevation. They walk next to you, not to lead or follow, but to partner with what has been divinely set in motion. They remain when the noise fades. They encourage behind curtains and uplift during battles. You pray side by side. You cast vision together. Small wins are cherished, not overlooked. This isn't about appearances, it's about impact. Alignment becomes evident in how forward momentum grows natural, not forced. You're no longer slowing your stride for those moving in another direction. You match pace with one, built for your route. When you falter, they speak to your strength. When you doubt, they remind you why you were chosen in the first place. This isn't a side plot, it's part of the main narrative. This love comes refined, not rushed. It carries evidence of divine timing and purpose. It doesn't pull you away from what matters. It draws you deeper into it. It mirrors the weight of your assignment and holds it with you. There is no striving to keep peace. Peace is woven into the bond. No delays, just acceleration. The rhythm of heaven finds reflection in your shared movement. And when you walk in step with it, favor doesn't just follow, it flows. This is not love that distracts. This is love that deploys. Some bonds arrive not just to hold your heart, but to unlock dimensions within you and around you. This love is not confined to emotional satisfaction or surface-level connection. It's a divine catalyst, stirring change not only inward but outward, reshaping the very ground you walk on. Its arrival sets off a chain reaction in purpose. You don't just feel more, you become more. It widens the path beneath your feet, drawing you into spaces that once felt distant or unreachable. You begin to engage with realms of influence that don't align with your history, but match the weight of your destiny. Doors swing open, not through effort, but alignment. This person doesn't clip your wings, they build the runway. Their presence doesn't crowd your calling, it confirms it. You step into assignments that were held for this timing, for this connection, for this convergence. This isn't love that follows comfort, it answers commission. Together, you don't just grow, you multiply reach. You plant ideas across territories, carry purpose into unfamiliar fields, and bring shift to bloodlines and boundaries. The synergy births momentum. What once required effort now flows. The clarity sharpens, the boldness rises, and in unity, resistance is not only withstood, it's overturned. This is a partnership marked by movement. You may find yourself navigating uncharted locations, standing in rooms that weren't opened by status, but by sacred purpose. You no longer hesitate to go. There is conviction beneath each step, not confusion. You're not wandering, you're sent. Geographic borders blur as spiritual expansion demands space. Together, you become carriers of legacy, building not just memories, but foundations for future generations. You hold not only affection, but authority. Your presence shifts climate. The union doesn't just attract favor, it draws divine orchestration. The impact of your alignment causes both resistance and recognition. What emerges from your unity is not about attention, but activation. Something eternal speaks through it. A ripple begins, not just within you, but through every area tied to your assignment. This love doesn't arrive to decorate life, it arrives to direct it. You don't just share life, you shape it. And in doing so, the very map of your purpose expands. You no longer just walk into destiny, you become a doorway for others to follow. It's more than personal, it's generational. More than change, it's transformation. This is not just the beginning of a relationship, it's the unveiling of a much larger mission. There's a shift approaching, one that meets the quiet ache you stopped speaking about. Not a fantasy or fading hope, but something real enough to hold and strong enough to stay. What you thought existed only in imagination is on its way into your reality. Not delayed, not far, near enough now to feel the pull in your spirit before your eyes can see it. You've poured patience into seasons that gave no guarantees. You've chosen solitude over settling, intention over impulse. While others rushed to fill silence, you waited with sacred restraint. Not because it was easy, but because you knew the difference between imitation and what's truly sent. In the unseen places where no one clapped or noticed, you chose integrity. You gave up things that glittered but didn't align. You stayed grounded when storms hit, and every moment you stood firm. Every time you whispered, "Still, I trust," was witnessed and woven into what's now unfolding. This love doesn't come to test your faith. It comes because of it. It doesn't play with emotions or cloud your judgment. It calms the internal noise and reminds you that peace was never supposed to be earned through exhaustion. It speaks your truth back to you when you forget your own strength. They do not arrive expecting perfection, but are drawn to your authenticity. They don't dismiss your past. They admire the path you've walked. What's valuable to you is safe with them. For once, you are not the only one pouring. You are being poured into with joy, not obligation. There's no need to perform or prove. Your softness isn't seen as weakness, but as proof of divine resilience. This time, love doesn't stretch you thin. It strengthens your core. It doesn't need fixing or hiding. It needs presence, and it gives presence back. What's forming now is not a prize for playing strong, but a gift born from surrender. You didn't demand timing, didn't grasp out of fear. You allowed the process to shape you, even when answers were few. And because of that, what's coming carries depth, clarity, and a peace you forgot was possible. This is not a dream anymore. It's fulfillment. Not because you earned it by being flawless, but because you trusted through the fire. And now grace brings more than you imagined. Not just someone to love, but someone who mirrors heaven's intention for your heart.